So, this book is intended to give you a chance to sit in my head behind my eyes for a bit. I'm trying to share thoughts and feelings that I may not have covered in the documentary, the Believe documentary, and that I don't normally talk about in my stand-up. In a way, I've tried to live my life as a film. I'm trying to do interesting things so that somebody notices, or so that maybe my mother notices, from beyond the mists of the living. Real life is actually a lot of boring things with occasional spikes of interest. If you look at films of people's lives, they tend to focus on only one aspect of it because the whole life doesn't quite work as a story. Footnote, think of Churchill. You've got Churchill's early years, builds up to a lot of failing, and then being an annoying war reporter, and then South Africa and the escape, and that's the punch. Then it all gets a bit weird because he joined the Conservative Party. You may not know this, kids at home, but he joined the Conservative Party, right? So he gets elected, and you think, oh yeah, Churchill Conservative Party. 5 years, only 5 years, and then he's out. He's in the Liberal Party for 20 years, I think it was. And then he flipped back into the Conservative Party. So leaving a party is called ratting. Churchill, by politics definition, ratted twice, so is a double rat, is 2 levels of rat, but also has been voted the greatest Briton that's ever lived. And if you look at Churchill's life, it's all over the place. He made huge mistakes. The Dardanelles, what happened there? He was First Lord of the Admiralty, which means he was in charge of the Navy, and that was a massive failure. And then in the Second World War, he gets First Lord of the Admiralty again, after being out in the wilderness for a long time. And then Norway happened, and Norway was almost like the Dardanelles all over again. And he was in charge of that. And then, because it failed, there was a big fracas in the House of Commons. And then Lloyd George, who had been out of being Prime Minister since, well, almost since the First World War, for some long time. And he gets up and he tells Chamberlain to go. And he quotes a speech from Cromwell, for God's sake, go, telling bad MPs to leave. And then it flips back and he tells Chamberlain to go. And Chamberlain has a vote of confidence and he wins it, but he doesn't win it by enough, so he has to go. And then Churchill, who's just failed in Norway, takes over. There we go. This is a big, long footnote, isn't it? But I know these things because I've looked at all these things. And the Churchill quote at the beginning is very interesting because no one really knows that. Couldn't we achieve so much together if we all just worked together? And right at the moment of doing this audiobook, 2017, there's Brexhate and Trump hate out in the world. And let's not work together. Let's run and hide. Let's build a wall. Let's hate the Muslims, hate the Jews, hate the immigrants, hate. Let's visit the 1930s once again. Very interesting that we've come all the way around to going back to that. 1930s, failed politics. Hatred doesn't work, kids. Anyway, very long footnote, right in the introduction. We haven't even got anywhere. Cool. But this is what you get with this audiobook. You get extra footnotes. But Churchill's life, if you look at it, it's a complete mess with some brilliant things. And yes, I was talking about the stories. 1940, they talk about the Gathering Storm. That's, Albert Finney. Look at that HBO film. That's building up to, it becomes First Lord of the Admiralty. Look at the end of that. And he says, I'm back again. I can't remember what Albert Finney's line is there, but he's in the First Lord of the Admiralty, in the, basically head of the Navy. Again, he's not head of the government. He's head of the Navy. And he doesn't become head of the government until May 1940. I think it's the day after the German Wehrmacht started their Blitzkrieg. And Blitzkrieg isn't even Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg was done by Napoleon first. And Napoleon did that because he copied Caesar. And Caesar did it because he copied Alexander the Great. There you go. And there's probably someone before Alexander the Great. It's just moving faster than the next guy. That's all it is, kids. Anyway, end of massive footnote.